Chapter 5, Learning Steadiness in Krishna Consciousness. When one approaches the topmost position of material opulence, the tendency for renunciation is natural. There are two tendencies in the material world: bhoga, sense enjoyment, and tyaga, renunciation of this material world. Without guidance, however, one does not know how to renounce. First of all, one wants to enjoy, and when he is frustrated in enjoyment, he renounces. Again, when he is tired of renunciation, he enjoys like a clock pendulum which swings from side to side. Yet thus all vacillating from platform of enjoyment to the platform of renunciation and back again. Karmis, fruitive workers, try to enjoy the world and reap the fruits of it. Consequently, they are constantly traveling on expressways all day and night to engage in material enjoyment. On the other hand, there are others predominantly disconnected who don't want any part of this. Thus, the world contains those engaged in bhoga and those engaged in tyaga. However, we will not be happy by following either of the paths because it is not our position to either enjoy or renounce. Since everything belongs to Krishna and nothing belongs to anyone else, whatever we possess is actually Krishna's property. Isha Vasham Idam Sarvam. Isho Mantra 1. Since we have not produced the tree, plants, waters on land, we cannot claim them. Since we actually have nothing, we can not renounce nothing. Or as it is said, naked we come in the world and naked we go out. In this interim, we falsely claim, this is my country, this is my home, this is my wife, this are my children, this is my property, this is my bank balance. Such claims are false because when we come into the world, we come in empty-handed, and when we go out, we go empty-handed. What then is the meaning of bhoga and tyaga? In the light of actual facts, they have no actual meaning. Bhoga is thievery and tyaga, and tyaga, renunciation of whatever never belongs to us, is a form of lunacy. In this regard, Krishna gives us the direction. Sarva dharman parityaja mam ekam sharanam praja. Bhagavad 18.66. Although we have created different types of religion based on bhoga and tyaga, we are thus advised to give up all of them and surrender unto Krishna. It's not within our power to enjoy or to renounce. When renunciation is recommended in Bhagavad Gita, it refers to renunciation of everything that we falsely claim to possess. A child may keep $100 bill from his father and try to keep it, although we may not know how to use it. The father may beg the child, "Dear boy, kindly give it to me." The child does not know that the money actually belongs to the father, nor does he know that he has the best handed to his father, and he simply does not know how to use it. Similarly, Krishna says, "Renounce your work for me, renounce your wealth and property for me." Krishna is not a beggar, for everything belongs to him, but he does not treat us like small children. Compliance to his request to give everything to him is called tyaga, renunciation, and is one of the means by which one can attain elevation to Krishna consciousness. Austerity, celibacy, equanimity, and charity are all required for realization of the ultimate or absolute truth. Krishna consciousness is not concerned with the relative truth but with the absolute. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Vyasadeva offers his obeisances to Supreme Absolute Truth, Satyam Param Dhimahi, Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.1. He offers his respect not to the relative categorical truths but to the Saman Bunam, the absolute truth. It is the duty of Brahmanas to practice those qualities by which the absolute truth can be realized. Brahmanas must be qualified by practicing cleanliness, truthfulness, control of the mind and senses simply, and by cultivating faith in the Vedas, and particularly in Bhagavad Gita. When Krishna says, "I am the Supreme Lord," we have to accept him with faith, not foolishly, but with full knowledge, and practically apply his acceptance in our daily life. Brahmana is not created by birth, but by education, practice, and knowledge. It is not a question of birth, but quality, as pointed out by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. Chaturvarnam maya srishtam guna karma vibhashana tatsa katam avi apyam vidyakrata akram. According to three modes of material nature and the work ascribed to him, the four divisions of human society were created by me. And although I am the creator of the system, you should know I am yet the non-doer, being unchangeable. Bhagavad Gita 4.1.3. One must not have the qualities of a Brahmana, but one must not only have the qualities of a Brahmana, but one should also work as a Brahmana. For one's qualities are tested by his work. If one is qualified engineer but simply sits down at home and does nothing, what is his value? Similarly, unless one works as a Brahmana, there is no value of him saying, "I am a Brahmana." One is therefore work as a Brahmana by fully engaging in service of Param Brahma, Krishna, the Supreme Brahman. How can service to the absolute truth be executed? Yaman Nimen. The practice of yoga linking with the Supreme is based on principles of regulation and control. Regulation cannot be executed without control. Therefore, one must be thoughtful and purify himself. If one wants to pass an examination, he has to go to school, follow the principles of school, and take some pains in study. Then he gradually comes to be successful. If he plays all day on the street, how can he accept success? Therefore, in the process being explained by Sukadeva Goswami, the first need is tapasya, austerity. Even if austerity and brahmacharya are painful because we want to be unrestricted, as soon as we are regulated, what appears to be painful is in practice not painful. There are two classes of men: those who are sober, dhira, and those who are extravagant, adhira. When one is in spite of provocation or in spite of presence of source of mental agitation can remain steady in his position is called dhira. Example of dhira is given by Kailash Pandit, a great Sanskrit poet who wrote a poem called Kumar Sambhava, where he has given an example of concerning Lord Shiva. It appears that when the demigods are fighting, demons and were being defeated, they decided they could be saved by a commander-in-chief born from the stamina of Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva, however, was in meditation. To acquire the needed stamina was very difficult. They therefore sent Parvati, a young girl, who appeared before Lord Shiva and worshipped his genitals. Although this young girl sat before Lord Shiva and touched his genitals, Lord Shiva was studying in meditation. Kalidas said he is an example of Dhira, for despite a young girl touching his genitals, he was undisturbed. Similarly, somebody sent a young prostitute to disturb Haridas Thakur. Upon hearing her appeals for intercourse, Haridas said, "Yes, your proposal is very nice. Please sit down and let me finish my chanting and then we shall enjoy." Morning came and the prostitute became impatient. But Haridas Thakur replied, "I am very sorry, I could not finish my chanting. Come tonight again." The prostitute came for 3 nights. On the third day, she fell down at his feet, confessed her intention and pleaded with him. "I was induced to perform this act by a man who is your enemy. Kindly excuse me." Haridas Thakur then replied, "I know all about that, but I allowed you to come here for 3 days so that you could be converted and become a devotee. Now take these chanting beads and go for chanting. I am leaving this place." Here is another example of Dhira, who has control of his deha, words, vacha, intelligence, buddhi, and his body, deha, words, vacha, and intelligence, buddhi. One's body, words, and intelligence should be controlled by one who is Dhira and who actually knows the principles of religion. We have been continuously committing sinful activities since time immemorial, and we do not know when this began. But this life is meant for rectification of all the mistakes that we have committed. One sets fire to unwanted grass and reapers in the field, they all will be burned. Similarly, by the process of austerity and penance, one can liquidate all sinful activities and become purified. But Sukhdev Goswami suggested an alternate process. Kechit kevalaya bhaktaya vasudev parayana agam dunmanti krishnena nihateva bhaskara. Srimad Bhagavatam 6.1.15. Generally, if one leads an austere or pious life of celibacy, equanimity, charity, etc., people will say there is a very pious man. But simply by becoming Krishna conscious, one can kill all the resultant actions of his past sinful life. A fog disappears as soon as sun arises, and Krishna rises within the brilliance of thousands of suns. The process is accepted only by someone who is very fortunate. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu therefore said, "Brahmande Brahmita Kauni Bhagyavan Jeev Guru Krishna Prasade Paye Bhakti Lata Vich." Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya 19.151. By the grace of Krishna and the spiritual master, a fortunate person, after wandering through universe in different species of life, received the seed of pure devotional service. Krishna consciousness is meant for very fortunate, for simply by accepting this one process, a person can surpass all duties of austerity, renunciation, celibacy, etc. Sukhdev Goswami declares, "Kichit kevalaya bhaktya," Srimad Bhagavatam 6.1.15. One is extremely fortunate, takes to the process of pure devotional service. Kevalaya bhakti refers to pure unalloyed devotional service, which there is no desire but to please Krishna. One should not render devotional service just to increase his income. We want money to become happy, but if we take to Krishna consciousness, automatically we will become so happy that we will neglect money. Money will automatically come. Happiness will come. There is no need to endeavor these things separately. It was Dhruv Maharaj who lamented, "How foolish I was that I took to devotional service with the desire of material profit." Ordinarily, for material profit, one goes to his boss or some rich man or demigod, but a devotee does not go anywhere but to Krishna. If he has material desires, if one goes to Krishna even for material advantages, the day will come when he forgets material desire, just like Dhruva Maharaj. He was repentant and said, "I came to Krishna and asked for something material." Just like one who has pleased a very rich man who asked him for a few grain of rice. If a rich man agrees to give us whatever we want, but we ask him only for a few grain of rice, is that very intelligent? Asking Krishna for material benefit is like this. One need not ask Krishna externally for material happiness, for material happiness will automatically roll before his very feet, pleading, "Please take me, please take me." Those who are practicing Krishna consciousness are not in need of material opulence, wife, children, happiness, home, for all is acquired automatically by the grace of Krishna. There is no need to ask Krishna for these material things, but one should simply request him, "Please engage me in your service." In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna also promises that one engages in his service, he will supply what is needed and preserve whatever is already possessed. One of his final instructions to Arjuna indicates total dependence on him. "Chetsa sarva karmani maya sannasya matpara buddhi yoga upashrita mat chitta satam bhava." In all activities and for their result, just depend upon me and work always under my protection. In such a devotional service, become fully conscious of me. Bhagavad Gita 18.57.